Hi, this is John Sifferman from physicalliving.com, where I teach health first fitness and physical culture to my readers around the world. In this video, I'm going to explain the difference between the top of push-up position plank and the elbow plank, or the typical, I guess you could call it the front plank. It goes by a lot of different names, and there really isn't that big of a difference between the two. I'll just say that right from the start. But there are two main differences, and you might want to take this into consideration when trying to decide which plank exercise would be best for you. And the first is that the angle of your body in relation to the ground and in relation to gravity. The top of push-up position plank puts you at I guess you could say, an easier angle, because you're a little bit more vertical than you are when you're in this elbow plank. You see how I get a little bit more parallel to the ground when I'm in this position versus this position. It's just an easier angle in the top of push-up position. And similarly, if I were to put my hands on, anything, a countertop, a bench, the angle gets easier. And on the flip side, if I were to put my feet up on something, the angle gets harder. So just comparing the two, the front elbow plank and the top of push-up position plank, the top of push-up position plank is an easier one just because of the angle of your body in relation to the ground. And the other major difference between these two exercises is the primary muscles involved in stabilizing your body. This is a stabilization exercise, and it's really a full body stabilization exercise, but there's one key difference between the two, and that is when your arms are bent in the elbow plank, your triceps are activated a little bit more, and depending on your position of your torso and how much elbow flexion you have, that's gonna determine how much your tricep muscles work. And if you have a perfectly vertical upper arm, not extended too much, not flexed too much, if it's perfectly vertical, then you're going to get the most efficient position and the least amount of tension on your tricep muscles. That's what I recommend in my plank exercise technique tutorial video. But the main difference between these two is that the elbow plank puts a little bit more strain on the tricep muscles, and the top of push-up position plank places a little bit more strain on the shoulders, because essentially your triceps are in a very efficient position here. Your whole arm is like a pillar in the top of push-up position. It's just a more efficient posture. And so it doesn't require as much local muscular strength in the tricep muscles, but it requires a little bit more in the shoulder, a little bit more shoulder stabilization to support your body. So those are the two major differences. And if you don't have like very specific athletic or occupational training goals where it merits having stabilization strength in one area or the other, and I would say that this is extremely rare cases where one technique would be more preferred to the other. I think the difference is negligible. It's hardly relevant at all. So I would encourage you to pick whichever plank technique feels better for you. And for me, if I had to choose one, and this is just me nitpicking here, this really isn't that big of a deal, but if I had to pick just one that I preferred, it is the top of push-up position plank. And that's just because I think it's a more practical position for building stabilization strength. It's more likely that you're going to need to be stable with a locked arm than with a bent arm. I just think in day-to-day life and in certain athletic activities, and that's just a personal preference. It's not an end-all be-all. It's not an absolute. But if I had to choose just one, it would be the top of push-up position. Now, maybe you argue that it's a little bit easier in that position, and in that case I would have you elevate your feet. And if it's still too easy, then I would either increase the duration or increase the sophistication of the challenge. There's all sorts of different advanced level planks that you can try out. So finding a challenging plank exercise is not the issue. So those are the major two differences, and I guess if you have any more questions about them, please let me know. I'd be happy to share what I know. So this is John Sifferman from physicalliving.com. I hope that this was helpful for you, and I'll see you around the internet. Take care.